Hi James, how are you?
Hey Josh, I'm very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. And so excited to speak to you because, we've seen you show up in so many great comedy projects over the years. I know when I'm rewatching I'm Alan Partridge, I always love seeing you pop up there as Ben. But at this point in your career, is there anything in particular you're looking for when a comedy movie like Tinsel Town comes your way?
Yeah, I would say, do you know what? I like comedy with heart.
Hmm.
I like it to have heart, and I felt when I read, I just loved this script. I just thought it was very very sweet and heartfelt. That's the kind of comedy I like to be involved in.
Yeah, for sure. And I know watching this film, I love seeing you exchanging barbs with Kiefer Sutherland with that scene on the doorstep. Was there a lot of
Yeah,
improvising in those moments for you too?
yeah, we just had a lot of fun with it. We were just mucking around and making each other chuckle, and he was very 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 accommodating and up for it and playful and sweet. So it was cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
I guess not everyone can say they've gone head to head with the guy who played Jack Bauer either, which is unique.
I was aware of that. Every time I opened the door, I was like, "Oh my goodness, let's keep this Sutherland." Yeah.
And of course, working with Alice Eve as well and developing that dynamic, particularly when Kiefer Sutherland comes into the frame. What did you enjoy about on that side of things?
Well, I've never met Alice, but I really like some of her work over the years, and I was aware of her. So when I knew that I was playing her hubby, I was really, really pleased, and we had such a fun time together. She's a great person. I loved her. Yeah, we had a ball. There's that little bit when she runs into that front room when Kiefer's coming in after. Did you notice she just rearranges the bowl on the table? Just
Yeah.
before he comes in, it's just this lovely. She just does these lovely little, nuanced moments that I love. I love all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And to add a Christmas movie to your CV, is that something you've wanted for a while when this came your way?
I do love a Christmas movie, and I've actually the last couple of years in the UK, I seem to be in a few Christmassy things. I'm not quite sure why that is. I do the famous five, and they bring one out. They've been bringing them out every Christmas, and they're doing another one this year, which we shot earlier, obviously in the year. And then I'm doing an episode. Do you know Beyond Paradise, the Christmas episode
Yes.
of as well? So I'm sort of popping up around the quite a bit this Christmas. Yeah, it just has a little extra mischief to it, which I like.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a big part of this film is about pantomimes and obviously Kiefer's character being fooled into starring in one as such. But what is your relationship with pantomimes? I know people either seem to love them, they hate them. But obviously it's this big staple over here in the UK.
I love pantomimes. I love everything to do with pantomimes. I was a child actor, and so my first kind of production. Oh no, that was something else. But as a kid, I did loads of pantomimes and fell in love with a local girl who was a chorus girls in it, and just all the backstage nonsense that goes on, and it's just so much fun. And I like the community spirit of it. It's just a really playful time. And then actually, I went on to do quite a few into my sort of late teens, and I kind of last pantomime I did was probably in my 20s, I think. But I love them. It's vaudeville, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of music hall and vaudeville and in jokes and sort of all that kind of stuff and the dame, the drag. I love it.
They seem to be getting more star-studded each year as well. Do you think you'd ever be tempted back into one, or is that maybe something you've done and not looking to quite go back to?
I'd be tempted to do one for sure. What did I see? I saw an amazing one. I saw Ian McKellen
Yeah.
do Mother Goose a few years ago. He was phenomenal. Do you know? I mean, he was in his 80s, I think,
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him before on stage, but that was probably my favorite. He was really naughty. He was really good.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And, with a character like Spencer, he's not this stereotypical kind of bad stepdad. He's actually, I think, a really good stepdad. And obviously, Kiefer's character, Brad, he's not the best father. Did that make the role a little bit more interesting to you? That maybe, subverting expectations with what we normally see from a character like this?
Yeah, I mean, I like to try and do that as well, when you play a role, just to sort
Mm.
of, just to humanize them and, because whether people are sort of good, bad, or, unpleasant, pleasant, there's always a reason for it. There's always something going on behind the scenes there. And so I like to kind of try and show, all facets wherever possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And working with Chris Fogan, how was that experience? I know he's obviously got a good comedy background like yourself. So did you enjoy that back and forth with him?
He is such a lovely man, and I imagine if you speak to anybody else in this production, they will all say the same thing. He is so full of joy, and he's just a great vibe. You can't go wrong with him on set. He's such a nice man. Yeah, very relaxed, really knows what he wants, and very open to ideas. He's perfect.
Yeah, and obviously that scene with Kiefer, you said there was a little bit of improv, but the film has a great script as well, from what I can see. Obviously, it's such a
Mhm.
good story, but does he give you freedom in maybe some of those moments to play around with scenes and to bring some of your personality to Spencer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he encourages you to, play and do your thing. So he's great. He's a great director.
Yeah, fantastic. And I thought it was interesting contrasts with Ted Lasso that you have this American coming into a very British kind of situation with pantos. What's the fun for you in being part of telling a story like that one and that fish out of water for a character like Kiefer?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how to answer. What was the question? How
Just
could you say that again?
yeah, the fun in telling stories like this where you have someone like Kiefer's character and again like Ted Lasso coming into the UK into a scenario maybe they're not familiar with that for us is obviously quite common, I think.
Yeah, I mean, in both characters that I play in Ted and in this, they're both very sort of self-assured, and they've got an opinion of who is in front of them. And in both instances, I think it becomes apparent that in both characters, I play Spencer and Trent, that their opinion, or i.e., their judgment, uh, is not on point. And there's always comedy in that, in sort of playing somebody that sort of, clearly thinks, because when Trent first sees Ted, it's like it's almost as if he's looking at Ronald McDonald coming to manage a football team, which obviously now we're also used to. Actually, it's completely normalized it, hasn't it? The idea of an American managing an English football team, but at the time, it was almost as bonkers as say something like somebody like Donald Trump walking into the White House. It was kind of as outlandish an idea, which of course we've all got used to that as well. And I like to sort of poke fun at the pomposity of English superiority.
Yeah.
And in both those characters, there's a fair chunk of that, and there's always some good comedy to be had there. They always end up with a bit of egg on their face. Although with Trent, he goes on, quite an unusual journey for a character. So we really get to see why he is the way he is. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, some of my favorite moments of this film. And talking Ted Lasso, oh, are we going to see Trent Crimm independent back in season 4?
As you can imagine, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? You
Yeah,
know,
had to ask.
I yeah, I can't say anything. I don't, I know nothing. I know nothing.
Looking back at that show, though, you alluded to it there. Obviously, what an amazing character arc you had. Did you what do you enjoy, looking back at Ted Lasso and just being part of that story?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I would say the reveal of the kind of man that Trent is, this sort of the soft underside to him, the kind of vulnerability, was a lovely thing to play because obviously when we first meet him, he's this really obnoxious, superior, you know, well, he's horrible really to begin with, and I had quite a clear idea as to why he was the way he was. I had this idea that he had a very sort of alpha father who wanted him to be like a kind of a bit more like a Roy Kent type character, and little Trent was not that, and so he sort of donned this intellect and this persona basically to kind of get through. And so there was a really lovely scene where Trent in season 3 he kind of gets into the locker room and they're all the team were pretty mean to him. And it was a bit of a sort of triggering moment because it's kind of like he would have had that experience as a kid not getting picked for the football team, and so it was really fun to play that kind of emotion in that scene and have him kind of steel himself and go, no, I'm gonna get on this on side with these guys, and he does. So it was a very beautiful experience actually, having playing a character that gets to kind of open out and be more who he is. That was cool.
Oh, incredible. And with back to this film, like Ted Lasso, set in London, what do you love about being able to, film in London and to tell stories in London as well as character like Spencer?
I mean, I love London's one of the best cities in the world, so I'm a huge fan of filming in London. I lived there for a long time as well. Yeah, it's just a great place to be. But to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy filming almost anywhere. I just like filming.
And just one final question for you, James, looking back at your experience on this film, what's some of your favorite memories from being part of Tinsel Town?
Just knocking about with Alice backstage was really, really good fun. Just the conversations we were having was the kind of conversations that you can only have with someone that's been doing this for a little while. We just had a really good giggle together, and then of course playing opposite with Kiefer was a blast.
For sure. Well, James, thank you so much for your time. I'm a huge, long-time fan of your work, and I cannot wait for people to see this film and to see you in it. So thank you.
Thanks, Josh. It was lovely to meet you.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Josh.
Cheers. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.